What up, boxing world? This is another boxing video. I want to say salute to Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis from what it looks like they're stepping up to the plate to fight each other. It's a big fight. It's a legacy fight, and may the best man win. But with that being said, it's interesting how certain characters pop up when there's a fight like this, or certain characters popped up to this fight. And a couple of the characters, let me just name one for sure. Leonard Ellerbe. Now this guy is the same guy who helped sabotage and create all doubt that the Bud Crawford-Errol Spence fight was going to happen. He got interviewed at one point in time, I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. When, in the aftermath of the November date being announced for Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. And Leonard Ellerbe proceeded to tell the person that was interviewing him, and he knew the world or the boxing world would see it. He said, I can tell you right now, that fight's not going to happen. Between Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. He said it's not going to happen. Mayweather said the same thing. But they make sure without a doubt that their fighter is going to fight. Tank Davis. Now, I don't have anything against Tank Davis. I just don't like the politics games and the hating and the cock blocking type shit that these dudes are doing when it comes to Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, a big welterweight undisputed fight, the same division that Mayweather was in. And everybody wants to ignore the mistreatment and the disrespect that that Bud Crawford had to endure, being lowballed, treated like he's nothing, like he's a bum. And everybody was doing all this uplifting of the big fish. But then Errol Spence doesn't do the same thing that Bud Crawford did, which is put his own promotional company on blast and to try to get some answers and results. And let it be known that, look, man, I've been wanting this fight. I've been wanting Errol Spence. I've been calling him out. I feel like this man is ducking me. If this man really wants to fight, then what's the holdup? And initially, Bud Crawford thought it was Bob Arum was really just standing in the way of that fight. Until Bud Crawford had to eventually realize that, oh no, it's PBC. It's Al Heyman. They don't want no parts of Bud Crawford. It wasn't Bob Arum and Top Rank that didn't want Bud Crawford to have a big fight like that, or to, make it look like, we don't want to uplift a black fighter. We don't want him to be at the top of the pinnacle, even though he was already ranked pound for pound number one. So, Leonard Ellerbe, now he's up, he pops up at Tank Davis's fight. At the press conference between Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, saying, yeah, man, I'm just so happy this fight is happening, and I knew we can get. We've been doing our job, as promoters, and we've been wanting this fight, and we knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time, but when it comes to the matter of time between Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, y'all shitting on it. It's like, what do y'all know that we don't know? I get it, we're just boxing fans, but why are y'all leaving people in the mystery and in the dark of why the fight is not happening ultimately? Because it had nothing to do. The issue is not Bud Crawford pulling out negotiations. Bud Crawford was trying to get, come to a fair agreement on everything to be able to get some transparency, look at what he'll be getting in the aftermath, what percentage, and all the behavior and all the little antics that Errol Spence was pulling. I was convinced that they didn't want to fight. Al Heyman didn't want to fight. The whole PBC camp. I'm not going to say the whole PBC camp. I'm just say Al Heyman, Errol Spence, I feel like Mayweather didn't want that fight for Errol Spence, and I feel like Leonard Ellerbe didn't want that fight for Errol Spence. It's like everybody has a fear when it comes to Bud Crawford. Everybody has some fear towards Bud Crawford, even though they don't want to admit it. They want to act out and protect their ego and their image, but they're fearful because of the way they've been acting when it comes to Bud Crawford. And Bud Crawford has just been knocking doors down. He's knocked out every opponent at the welterweight division. Not only he's undefeated at the welterweight division, he has knocked everybody out, including Porter, including Amir Khan, who quit pretty much, including Kell Brook. Mean Machine. People try to say, Jose Benavidez's leg was, he had no leg. But really, nobody didn't want no smoke with Jose Benavidez up until that point. When he was an undefeated fighter, like, people make all 1,000 excuses to try to downplay everybody Bud Crawford fought. But he fought real dogs. He fought people that was not scared. And Bud Crawford showed that he was not scared. You know how many people harassed him? Jose Benavidez harassed the shit out of Bud Crawford before Bud Crawford was like, all right, it's time. Mean Machine harassed the fuck out of Bud Crawford, but until he was the number one contender to him, and to where Bud Crawford was like, all right, it's time. And then after a while, what happened? It changed. Nobody else was coming after Bud Crawford. Nobody else was calling out Bud Crawford. It shifted. All of a sudden, everybody started calling out Errol Spence now. Look what's going on. Bud Crawford proved to not only these fighters, but the world, that he is the best. He ain't scared of nobody. You're going to have to prove to him that you're going to beat him. If you are man enough to get in that ring with him, it's easy to talk. It's easy to talk when you just talk that smack. Say, your Bud is not this, Bud is not that. But are you in the ring with him? Do you have his resume? Are you really like that? No, y'all don't think you really like that. Just like I don't feel Errol Spence is like that. I lost confidence in him after I saw the doubt in him and the fear. It's okay, Errol Spence. It's all right that you scared, bro, but don't play this game with the public and act like, you're not scared. If it don't happen, it ain't on my end. You knew it wasn't going to happen because you was already pre-planning your exit away from Bud Crawford. Come on, dog. Like, you got to make this stuff make sense. But this clown, Leonard Ellerbe, I've lost all respect for Mayweather, man. I've lost all respect for Mayweather. Mayweather is like he's pulling the Al Haymans now. He's hiding. He's all behind the scenes. He pops up when he wants to have his exhibition fights, and then he disappears again. And then when it comes to that big fight, watch. I bet you, if the Bud Crawford Errol Spence stuff start resurfacing more and more and more, Mayweather gonna implement himself. He gonna start really, really making his presence felt and start talking more and more on that fight, just to try to make it about him. I don't know what it is about these guys. They can't let go of their glory, that image. But it's okay. The truth will always be revealed. We in the revelation times. And I ain't even Bible thumping, but a lot is being revealed about a lot of people. And unfortunately, my eyes have been open to this Mayweather, Leonard Ellerbe, Al Heyman, PBC camp situation. I'm not liking it, man. I'm very disgusted with what's going on. They act like politicians with the sport. Like, get out the way. If you don't want the fight to happen, get the hell out the way. Don't go on no interviews and say, it's not going to happen. It may happen in the future. Nobody asked you. And if they ask you, we don't care what your opinion is. We don't care what you got to say. Because if you're not going to explain to us ultimately, fully why it's not happening, and you got all this source information, you talk to the man, the Wizard of Oz, Al Heyman, if you ain't coming with no information as to why it's not happening, but all you want to say is, I can just say right now it's not going to happen. Maybe in the future, but it ain't going to happen. And that's all you leave us with? Fuck y'all bitch ass motherfuckers, dog. That's how I feel. Y'all niggas can go ahead and let me stop. But that shit's ridiculous, bro. Just play these little arrogant games and shit. You're just, it's not gonna happen. Well, maybe sometime in the future, but it's not gonna happen. And then don't give us no other explanation. Don't give us no details as to why it's not going to happen. Thanks, guys. Fucking jerk-offs.